How are you doing? Right? Myself, I'm doing okay, bro. You know, couldn't be better so far today. The day couldn't be better, right? But we are gathered here today for the psychology of creativity. Breaking that down, right? This is for my creatively inclined minds out there, right? Gather around, let's see what makes up the psyche that you done developed to this day. You know what I'm saying? The mental processes that go on in your own psyche, so that we know what goes into, you know, having this creative mind or creative psychology. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, let's break that down, shall we?
Cause this mind is straight chatter, but I can barely say something. I feel like shit don't matter, so beware the fun cutting. It's volumes of demise, I hear the sound buzzing. So when she said she wanna die, and he see she ain't bluffing, so he held her to the skies, cried sour momentum. Passive with goodbyes, I'd rather you tell him. But now the truth is I've digressed from all the feelings. So
Right. Well. Back for another one, right? Why not? I feel like why not? Okay, this time we're back for the psychology of creativity. You see, the thing is, I cannot even get like proper feedback as to whether people as to whether people mess with what we got going on or not. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't know if the psychology videos like keep y'all coming back, but since it ain't, you know, because another thing, I don't be boosting these posts or anything like that, so you know, maybe this organic kind of growth is supposed to be dead silent, right? But shout out to the 7 of y'all that like or subscribe, bro. I appreciate y'all, seriously, from the bottom of my heart. Saying. But then, yeah, for the past like couple months, man, it's just been us, and that's cool. But it would be like better to know if y'all fuck with these psychology videos, or we, you know, switch it up, try something new. Tell me.
Not the artist alone, but every creative individual whatsoever owes all that is greatest in his life to fantasy.
Why?
The dynamic principle of fantasy is play, a characteristic also of the child, and as such it appears inconsistent with the principle of serious work. But without this playing with fantasy, no creative work has ever yet come to birth.
Seriously.
The debt we owe to the play of imagination is incalculable. What does it mean to be creative?
What does it mean?
The word derives from the Latin creare, meaning to create, bring forth, or give birth. Myths, eternally recurring patterns that express fundamental truths about the human condition, portray creation as the activity of the gods, who bring the world into existence.
Yo, and just before we dive deep into it, right? I just want to give my little clarity as to who is referred to. Oh my god, bro, this shit is finna be like such a problem these days. I've been disclaiming it on my other channels. Yo, half of my screen is gone, bro. Like half of my screen is blacked out, right? I be using a projector to display my PC. Do that on the wall, you know what I'm saying? And so, you know, these projectors, they got this thing where they develop some sort of black dot, black hole, you know what I'm saying? My Xbox guys, they know the red ring of death. Yo, I feel like with the projectors out there, I've never heard this be coined, but I'm finna coin it today. We got the black ring of doom. Oh, it's the black rings of doom. It's like these black spots that develop and then they just like spread out, right? They spread out and they become bigger and bigger. And like I researched the shit. Apparently it's because of, you know what I'm saying, the wear and tear. I don't know. Maybe I'm not handling it right. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? But half of my screen is gone as a result. So scenes are gonna just like, yeah, my switching of the scenes, right? These things right here, right? These right here, as I switch right here like that, like I won't be able to, especially when, yeah, well, that's the last one. But right now I can do it because now I can see the shadow of the mouse. So, you know what I'm saying? I kind of developed my little system of getting around, but you might see me trip over that like a few times. Please don't mind that. Now, what I wanted to clarify is the fact that, yo, everybody's a creator, right? All human beings. But then I just Me myself, I'm here to find out what he really means by the creative psychology. Especially like, I feel like, creativity belongs to those that are really aware of it. They are aware of the fact that they are creative beings. Now, I did say all humans are creative, right? Because down to the point of reality where, once you can grow up and have a sperm, right, slash an egg cell, right, from the ovaries or whatever, like, you have creative capabilities, right? And that's all human beings. You know what I'm saying? All human beings can create mental situations, thought patterns. You know what I'm saying? So in that aspect, everybody got these creative aspects to them. But do all people see themselves as creators, dog? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's what Eternalize is here to clarify for us. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to point that out right quick before we go on. You know what I'm saying? Hope y'all get that though.
Thus, creativity was first understood as a divine generative force. The earliest recorded creation myths, such as those of the Sumerians, Babylonians, and Egyptians, converge on an archetypal motif. In the beginning, only the primordial waters existed, symbolizing chaos, out of which order emerges.
Heard that out the Bible, yeah.
Heaven and earth, the gods, and eventually humans. From undifferentiated potential arises differentiation and actuality.
Seriously?
Psychologically, this mirrors the process by which the unconscious, often symbolized by water, gives birth to consciousness. The human psyche is the womb of all the arts and sciences. As Carl Jung writes, "I am indeed convinced that creative imagination is the only primordial phenomenon accessible to us, the real ground of the psyche, the only immediate reality." From the Renaissance onwards, and especially during the Enlightenment, creativity came to be understood as a distinctly human capacity for imagination.
And what created the standard for creativity as we have come to know it? Like what was the, oh shit, this is creative? Because I feel like, it's a whole lot of schools of thought that associate creativity with chaos. You know what I'm saying? Like not being orderly, you know what I mean? And deriving, I guess, the beauty in that, for lack of a better term, you know what I'm saying? Oh shit, my fault. Yeah, so people found beauty in the chaos, you know what I'm saying? But then the thing is, obviously, you're gonna wanna bring order to that. But I don't think necessarily creativity has to do with making order out of the chaos, but seeing some, deriving some sort of pleasure, I guess, like beauty within like what's, shit that's disorderly or chaotic, you know what I'm saying?
Innovation and invention. At a deeper level, however, creativity involves bringing one's inner nature into being, a task unique for each individual. In Jungian psychology, this process is called individuation, the lifelong task of becoming fully oneself by bringing the contents of the unconscious up from the dark waters into the light of consciousness. Individuation, however, cannot occur without prior differentiation. One must become psychologically distinct from others, including one's loved ones, and avoid adopting another person's psyche, values, or identity.
So psyches are contagious. Is that what you're trying to tell me, Eternalized? Like somebody else's psyches and mannerisms can be adopted by somebody else, right? That's actually kind of deep, bro.
In place of one's own.
Because obviously you don't want to adopt the psyche of somebody, because the concept of like looking up to somebody. You bump into someone where you think, yo, they could do no wrong. Even looking beyond, I feel like this is where psychosis takes a hard left turn, right? Where it goes south, right? Where you think, yo, my role model can never do no wrong, bro. Even with the wrong that they are doing, but it's in front of your face, but you choose to overlook that. But like that's where now, you know what I'm saying? That's shaky territory right there. I don't know if y'all heard about the aspect to the Dahmer stories, the Dahmer files, right? Now that Jeffrey Dahmer character, right? That was like the serial killer of old. Bro, homie used to get like letters from prison, like while he was in prison, from like females. Yeah, females that like would what's the word? Like, fantasize on him and what they've heard of him. You know what I'm saying? Infatuated by like just what he did, bro. Getting like love letters and shit. That's where the psyche's kind of like just bad psyche, right? Bad psyche.
Common conflict arises when people try to tell others how to live, unaware that they are unconsciously projecting their own identity onto them.
Bro?
Naturally, there will be terrible resistances, because no one can live someone else's life.
Yeah.
In doing so, one violates not only the other's individuality, but also one's own. Rather than remaining unconsciously fused, one must establish a conscious relationship with others. This does not imply a withdrawal of love or care.
What does it mean?
On the contrary, fusion creates confusion, whereas separation makes genuine love possible. Each person must allow his or her own individuality to unfold, which is a painful process, for we are not only physically attached to those we love, but also psychologically bound to them. Letting go of these unconscious ties can bring loneliness, anxiety, and guilt. Yet without this separation, psychological growth cannot occur. In the first half of life, differentiation dominates as we build a stable ego through interactions with family, friends, school, work, and relationships. In the second half of life, the psyche naturally turns inward, focusing on aligning the ego with the self, our whole personality. Failure to adapt to this shift often leads to a midlife crisis. Both differentiation and individuation continue throughout life.
Wait, say that again?
Failure to adapt to the second half of life, the psyche naturally
adapting to this individuation
turns inward, focusing on aligning the ego with the self, our whole personality. Failure to adapt to this shift often leads to a midlife crisis. Both differentiation and individuation continue throughout life, but one tends to dominate at each stage of life. One might say, with a little exaggeration, that life truly begins at midlife. Until then, we're just doing research. When the ego is not properly related to the self, neurosis arises as a state of inner division, and in extreme cases, psychosis may result. Many people suffer from a profound disconnection from the psyche, or soul, the mythological and symbolic realm that enriches our life with meaning. To restore this meaning, we must reconnect with the self, which represents the potential for attaining our true nature by making the unconscious conscious. Though many seek wholeness, they theorize endlessly about the process, precisely to evade it. For we will do anything to avoid facing our worst enemy, ourselves. Human life seems naturally oriented towards growth. Like a seed that becomes a tree and bears fruit,
and by growth, I feel like, for the most part, the human life will always push the human to want to experience what's beyond, its current capabilities and its current state of being. You'll always want to do more than what you can right now, right? That's why maybe the concept of maybe being in one spot, doing nothing, you know what I mean? That can get so redundant. It actually goes against your natural, the natural flow of how things are supposed to go. Because now I'm talking about the whole narrative where, people would rather do nothing, just meditate your life away, just breathe at a mountain for like 10 to 20 years and just do nothing. Even that, like for me, that's why I grapple with the concept of being a monk for so long. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I get the fact that maybe they do reach that level of ecstasy and bliss. You know what I mean? And maybe I'm only speaking this way because I've never experienced that. But my idea of just being in one spot, just doing nothing, and you know what I'm saying? Yeah, my mental cannot fathom that. You feel me? So, but that's why I believe in just being a productive human being. Being productive is. Alright, let me not lose y'all.
To seek to produce our own fruit, a symbol of our life's work. At the same time, there is a tremendous waste of potential, visible not only in the unlived life of humans, but also throughout nature and the animal world.
Unlived?
The creative process is never without struggle. Every act of creation is first of all an act of destruction. For new life to emerge, we must allow our old ideas, behaviors, and attitudes that hinder us from growth to be destroyed. This is a symbolic death and rebirth, a painful transformation that not many are willing to endure. But to refuse this sacrifice is to fall into stagnation and meaninglessness. Just as a snake must shed its skin to live, we too must undergo inner change. A person must pay dearly for the divine gift of creative.
But you know what my question is everybody meant to understand reality in this way? Understand the whole necessity of merging with the self versus merging. Merging versus individuation, right? Separation. Like these concepts and what to do with them. I feel like some people, at the end of the day, some people are just meant to be lost. Like they're meant to maybe be hidden in the veil of just materialism. You know what I mean? And another thing, even if that is the case, it's not meant to be for your whole entire life. Maybe you're meant to just be lost for a phase of your life. You know what I'm saying? And because of that, like with that being said, I feel like that's why the teenage phase of damn near every human being is what it is. And I'm saying damn near every human being because I feel like there are teenagers who just I don't know. They kind of pop in the game already being wise for some reason. I don't know. Like I know you've heard of those. Or maybe that might just be maybe how the psyche has developed or learn to function with its traumas. You know what I'm saying? You become overly stoic at like 14. You know what I'm saying? You aggressively maybe want to be, extra smart and genius like, you know what I'm saying? And kind of militant at like 15, 13. You know what I'm saying? You get those kind of individuals. But for the most part, beyond that, that's why the teenage stage, right? It's that ignorant stage where you're still vulnerable, gullible, naive, you feel me? Think you know a lot, fake deep, you know what I'm saying? I know I'm only 14, but this is deep type mentalities and, super arrogant, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's that. And then you make these kind of mistakes where, they end up just like giving you these reality checks that nah bro, that's not what it is. It's different, and then you grow older and then that's when you get things at a deeper level. You really understand that much of authentic reality. You know what I'm saying? Then now you can adapt, you can understand when to individuate, right? And when to stay separate. You know what I mean? And just integrate these two aspects of you. So when I say like somebody someone may be meant to stay lost, it's not necessarily be like remain in hell or whatever. Yes, the circumstance may be hellish, but even in those hellish moments and those hellish environments, bro, they're there to teach you something. Peep, nigga, do your homework.
Fire. The ancient Greeks regarded inspiration as a form of divine madness,
really?
A gift from the gods. Through the aid of the muses, personifications of human creativity, humans may briefly enter the realm of the divine and obtain the creative fire. But this gift comes with a cost.
What's that?
Those who trespass the limits of mortality to claim what belongs to the gods must ultimately pay a price. Across the world, myths of tricksters and culture heroes stealing fire illustrate the dual nature of creativity. It can enlighten, but also bring suffering. The most popular figure is that of Prometheus in Greek mythology. As Hesiod recounts in Theogony, Prometheus deceived the gods, leading Zeus to withhold fire from humanity. Out of pity for mankind, Prometheus stole the fire back, an act for which he was condemned to eternal torment. In his wrath, Zeus sought to punish humanity as well, commanding Hephaestus to fashion the first woman from Earth, who would bring misfortune to man. Hesiod revisits the myth in Works and Days, framing Prometheus' theft of fire.
Bro, let me just point this out too, like, since we are on, what Greek mythology, right, this is. I never really took much.
I don't like that shit.
I never really cared like that about whether, things were real, about, it's kind of like people that question whether, the events in the Bible, were those real, those physical events, was Eden really a physical place and things, you know what I'm saying? That's neither here nor there for me. But I feel like, the mythology aspect of it does say something about the creative psyche of the people that came up with the mythology. Because they may be explaining, parallel concepts, parallel realities, but, in a sort of in an analogy sort of way, right? Like, what's the word? Figuratively? No, not figuratively. As myths, you know what I'm saying? So you have the concepts of these gods and, their forms, their characters, their, the personas around them. And then maybe they were obviously explaining something that's like higher than what a person, you know what I'm saying? What a person is capable of. Because obviously these gods had supernatural powers and shit like that. You know what I mean? So yeah, even the concepts of just like Greek mythology, that says something about like that creative psychology that we're here to break down, right?
As the origin of human suffering. The first woman is introduced as Pandora.
Oh no, fuck that. Like I was trying to let me wrap up my point. So the thing is, when we see when you hear maybe legends about this god went against this god and took this god's goddess, and they had their little affair, and then a kid came out of that, and then things like that. It's like it's the chaos that's trying to be explained, right? So people like, so maybe let's say progressive sort of vision, you know what I'm saying, that just like a coherent sort of vision, like image within the mind, as per the chaos that's really around them, and then they conceptualize it and mythologize it, right, and humanize whatever they see as this chaos within reality. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying like this is how I think Greek mythology came up, but it's like, I feel like that's how the psyche can just this is how the psyche can arrive at creativity and becoming just like creative and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? It may, oh my god, I don't want to say this out loud, but it may just border on a little bit of schizoism, like, a little bit of it. And like seeing something that's not really there, but you know what I mean. Okay, let me get off of that.
All gifts, who carries a jar containing countless plagues. Prometheus had warned his brother Epimetheus not to accept any gifts from Zeus.
Seriously?
But Epimetheus ignored the warning and accepted Pandora.
Like that shit,
Out of curiosity, Pandora opened the jar,
that shit.
releasing sorrow, disease, and death, thereby ending the Golden Age. Only one thing remained within the jar: hope. In Prometheus Bound, Prometheus gifts mortals not only fire but also hope, and bestows upon them the arts that shape civilization, thereby expanding their knowledge. Before his intervention, humans are described as having eyes yet seeing nothing, having ears yet hearing no sound.
I'm saying.
They drifted
God,
like fleeting shapes in a dream, lost, confused, wandering through endless days.
Yeah.
In myths, truths that occur internally are presented as though they were.
Oh yeah, shit. I wanted to point out the fact that you know, when I said some other people are just like meant to be lost, you know what I mean? That's them having these eyes without seeing, ears without hearing nothing. You know what I'm saying? Brains without you know what I'm saying? Without utilizing them, I don't know.
External events. Psychologically, the theft of fire can be seen as a symbol for the increase of consciousness, which may be described as the goal of human existence, to know oneself.
Yeah.
Until we embark on this journey, we exist in a kind of limbo, drifting aimlessly. But the acquisition of such precious knowledge comes at a heavy cost.
What's the cost?
The end of the paradisical golden age.
Damn.
A similar truth appears in the myth of Adam and Eve. If we imagine being born in paradise and living there eternally, we would be like unconscious automatons, with little free will and no possibility for growth. By eating the forbidden fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, Adam and Eve's eyes were opened, symbolizing the dawn of human consciousness. However, they immediately felt ashamed and hid from God, who promptly expelled them from paradise, lest they eat of the tree of life and become immortal, like the gods. In his book, The Courage to Create, American psychologist Rollo May considers the battle with the gods as a struggle with our own mortality.
You know what I'm saying? Considers the battle with the gods as a struggle with our own immortality. That's where that chaos aspect I was talking to you about comes in. You know what I mean? So it's the chaos within your own reality, bro. And then that obviously sparks up you humanizing that whole, the perception that, you know what I'm saying, that you're grappling with and shit like. Maybe that is where the reality of the gods is derived, bro. Alright, let's, you know, from like reality having shaped the psyche, the creative psyches of the, you know, the humans of old, bro. Alright, that's the